To go after Abu Sayyaf, and he was the last one that had Kayla Mueller being held, and like her and all the stories that you'd hear.
The untold story of Kayla Mueller.
Heartbreaking and inspiring story of Kayla Mueller.
That was Kayla's room, but back here is where we kept everything. This is all Kayla's stuff, and I come in here and read her stuff still.
We all knew the story of Kayla Mueller and what she had endured.
This missionary, Kayla Mueller, American missionary trying to help out over there, was kidnapped.
An AK gets shoved in his face, and he grabs the barrel, and the dude just starts racking rounds off like next to his head.
It's Baghdadi, and they're like, oh yeah, he's in there. He's in there. He's got a suicide vest on.
That's a movie, what happened there. And there's a huge public interest in Conan the dog that was part of the operation. Definitely ripped like many throats out.
I shot him from the stairwell, essentially in the top of his head, and then
Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is dead.
I got to see the video of Baghdadi, the Baghdadi op. Like afterwards, you know, they had this whole, those guys are very good at, you know, their marketing themselves to the right people. So they made a video of their operation. It's classified, but you know, you get to go down. They even had really cool music, and so that was. But being part of it.
So were
really
you in the
meant,
planning process of these?
No, I wasn't. That's all the military. The military does the planning. You know, if there's any like approvals that sometimes there's ancillary things that need to be approved, like they need to go up a chain. But the big thing that I had to do with the Baghdadi operation was briefing Congress after the fact and briefing members and the staffs. And what was really awesome, I mean, this was my favorite part of it, and I sound like a fangirl because I am, was, you know, it was myself, my joint staff counterpart, he's a very highly decorated ranger, and the director of CTC at the agency. And it was really, for the most part, the two of them explaining in detail what happened. So I really can't say very much, but the CTC guy, the CIA Counterterrorism Center's director, I mean, that's some movie shit, what happened there. And the first time that I learned it, just being real, was like when I heard him briefing on the Hill. And that's right. I had zero need to know about how they got to Baghdadi and how they figured out it was him. And how they got eyes on, and but I did
share any of that, or is that all sealed up?
I mean, I wouldn't want to be the one to tell that story. That's someone else's story.
Okay.
But God bless them. And what was amazing, one of the many amazing things about that operation was they had. I mean, it was boots on the ground, and no one was even injured. The dog. Super funny story about the dog. Okay, I can tell that. So, Conan, the dog. So there's a huge public interest in Conan, the dog. That was part of the operation. Got injured in the operation, but was fine mostly. So when the time came to give the unit an award, there was something, I don't even remember what exactly, but there was some type of ceremony at the White House. But you know, that unit, that's a special mission unit, so none of those guys can be identified. So, but they wanted to showcase the dog. So the dog had a different handler for that event because the real handler, you know, couldn't be on camera. And we were watching in the office, and he was standing, the vice president was standing next to the dog, and the vice president started moving his hand like to pet this thing. This is not the dog that you pet. Do you know what I'm saying? This dog has titanium teeth and is like probably like definitely ripped like many throats out. And the vice president's like, we just watch his hand like, we were all like, no. But and not with his regular handler either. So like, oh my God, but it all worked out. And the Pence has both his hands still. But that was just to be part of that in a small way, and help like tell the story of what these guys did was truly amazing. And you know, we all knew the story of Kayla Mueller and what she had endured and what he had done to her, turning her into just let's not even say it, but just so horrific, was so meaningful to be able to, you know, we couldn't save her, but we did like bring justice for her family at the end of the day. And like, I believe in that.
To go after Abu Sayyaf, and he was the last one that had Kayla Mueller being held and like raping her, and all the stories that you'd hear from the Yazidi slaves that would be either like they'd not be freed, but they'd escape. And it was just fucking disgusting, man. And it just was, we sat over there, because we went over there to go, like 2 periods of darkness, we were going to go do this, go get Kayla. And then that turned into she's been killed, and then he moved targets. So it's like the longest no notice deployment, warm start, cold, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, I usually don't do good and evil. When you're talking about your enemy, I don't think it's helpful. I think it colors your judgment. This guy was the definition of evil. He was an evil man.
Can you describe some of the stuff?
Well, the most dramatic one is this missionary, Kayla Mueller, American missionary trying to help out over there, was kidnapped, and she became his, basically slave. Unbelievable, just barbaric, not just with her, but other people. And he was the head of ISIS, and we're like, obviously we've got to kill this guy. And
well, let's get a little more in detail. What was he doing to her? Because I want, this is going to be history here.
Yeah, but it's already been said. And I know the family, and I really don't want to cause any more heartache. But it was barbaric. You take the worst thing you could imagine, and he was doing that to Kayla Mueller. We did an operation to go in there one night to get her. She was not there.
Got a window, and we went, and it was this big moving piece from Erbil all the way into deep into Syria, like aerial refuels. Like it was a big mission. They consider it a treasure trove of intelligence that we got from that. It was like something like 7 terabytes of just like intelligence that we captured. And
let's go through it. So you went in by helo.
Yeah, so I was on the 60s, and my team fast roped to the rooftop. It's 3 stories, but the 3rd story was a cupola with a stairwell that went down the center. So think 4 condos, apartments. So 2 on the top floor and then 2 on the bottom. We cycled in, so the 4 little birds went into the ground on the street with the other troop to flood the bottom floor, and then we roped into the roof and flooded. But we timed it to where their charges, we knew their charges were going to go off before we could get ours on. And when that happened, it blew our breaches open. So, and I'm coming down the stairwell in the cupola, and my 2 ICs up front, and it's a stairwell that, landing and then coming back down. And I see this guy, a shadowy figure kind of I could see I was on the halfway down on the stairs, and I could see into the apartment after the door blew open. And, the breaches were right behind the 2 ICs, and they're like, oh fuck, they're sticking the charges on the wall to get out, like to put them up to get their hands back on the rifle. And this dude comes flying in or out, and maybe he got within 2 feet of my mate, and he was hiding behind this female, and I could just see it, like he's running out with a pistol and like to her head, and like he had no idea we were right there. And before it became more of a thing, like I was able to see that, even just a snapshot of, like, I'm talking 3 or 4 feet of like depth into the room they came from. I was able to key off that, and then I shot him from the stairwell and essentially in the top of his head, and then he just Supermaned down the stairs, and she kept like running. Before that became, me made it like it would have been like from
Me to you.
me like closer than that to my teammates.
Holy shit.
It was a really tight shot, like period, like between her head, his head, and then my mate, like off his rifle, under nods. So, man, that was just like, oh, this is how this is gonna start, you know. And then we just kept going, and I mean, there was like moments where dudes, and this is why when I teach people, because I learned this lesson, and my mates did, like, if I take one of my hands off my rifle, I'm going to transition to my pistol to do whatever it is I need to do, you know, lift something up. Because downstairs they got into a situation where they open a closet door and there's a chick that jumps out or whatever, and behind one of my mates goes to grab the female off of, you know, out of there, and then an AK gets shoved in his face, and he like grabs the barrel, and the dude just starts racking rounds off like next to his head, and he's just controlling the muzzle with his own hands now. He's in a wrestling match now.
Yeah.
And now my other mate had to like get into a position to like take a shot on this cat, and that's to me, and it's the same way with like ladders. Like they've shot someone on a roof from popping up where ISR said the roof was clear, and they're hiding under layers of shit, man. Then you get a gun shoved in your face. You're like, well, at least I had my red dot sight looking through my nods as I'm coming up on a ladder rung. But it's it's something that I talk about, and it's founded in like real world experience on why, you know, with like rifles aren't meant to be shot with one hand. Like I'm strong, and there's plenty of strong people out there, but you know, that's not the way that they're meant to cycle and to function, and damn sure not shoot accurately or surgically. So for me, it's like, but I can do that with my pistol in one hand if I need to. So transition.
The assault force surrounded the house. Dude with a micro, you know, what do you call it? A
bullhorn or something.
Bullhorn is like, hey, you're surrounded. Come out with your hands up. And lo and behold, like a bunch of women and kids start streaming out. Like, I can't remember how many, like 20 of them come streaming out of this house. Translators and interpreters are like, what's going on? Is Baghdadi? And they're like, oh yeah, he's in there. He's in there. He's got a suicide vest on, and he's got 3 women with him that are also his wives, one of which was like 14 or something. You know, can you believe this? Can you believe that crap?
I mean, I believe it now because the shit's going on right here in the home front, you know?
Man.
It's getting, well, that's another conversation.
Do the call out. They're like, he's in there. Okay, well, we're going to go get time to dig him out. And they send the dog in. They sent, no, I think they sent a robot in first. You know, oh, he's here. He had built out like a fighting position slash safe room in the back. They're like, oh no, he's here. And yeah, there are 3 women here. And the only way we're going to get this done is going to have to put some commandos in here to dig him out, kill his ass, right? And so then...
What unit is this?
This is the Army.
Okay.
Did you see me wink? This is the Army counterterrorism element that remains nameless, that you all know. And you can say it, but I can't say it. And you've had many of their members on your show before.
Yeah.
Because they were the task force that was in Syria, Iraq at the time.
Okay.
So they did the operation. And we're all watching the screen, and you know how watching ISR is. It's kind of like murky and you can't really tell what's going on. But you can see it's game on time. You can see the explosions, boom, boom, boom. You're sitting there like, what's going on? But you don't want to ask because they're busy. And I got to tell you this, President, Vice President, Milley, senior military leadership were all extremely, patient. Because there's nothing worse. Remember when you're getting yelled at by your boss? You're like, hey, I'm working right now. I'll give you a situation report. When it's done, stop bothering me. I was really impressed that nobody put any stress on. You can see explosions going off, and you're like, oh man, this is the fatal funnel. Nothing we can do about it. Let's see what happens. About not too much later, the report comes back. Yep. Suspect or whatever, the target detonated himself, and we're now going to collect DNA to see if it was him. And
did you say we're now going to collect, or we are not going?
We are. They are. And then I'm flashing back to like the poor kid who's on sensitive site exploitation, right? He's like, I got to go in there. And he has suicide vest on. And you know what happens with suicide vest? The dude's head's going to pop off, right? Remember? I tell in my book the story. I had a buddy next to me who was flashing back being in Iraq when he had to go find the head. And of course, I know what's going on. Like, okay, they're going to find the head. They're going to do the forensics, and they're going to do the biometrics, and they'll look at the distance between the eyes, the ears, all that crap. But you got to find the head first. And I'm just sitting there going, oh man, can you imagine that kid in there with this surefire, smoke billowing, probably fire going on, looking for the guy's head. And the task force commander, the ground force commander, really was impressive that he would not, they call it, calling jackpot indicating that the target that you were going after is either captured or killed. And he would not call jackpot, even though we know it's Baghdadi, right? It's like, not calling jackpot. Finally, the 4-star commander that's overseeing the operation, this guy's General McKenzie, he calls and goes, ground force commander is not going to call jackpot right now, but he assesses with a strong degree of confidence that the target has been killed. And at that point, you're like, oh,
no matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.